Earlier, I asked Sean Spicer, the RNC's chief strategist and communications director, for his response.
I think the White House realizes that they are worried that Hillary Clinton has an enthusiasm gap. People are not excited the way they were for Barack Obama, especially the first time, never mind the second. They have a problem on their side getting young voters and minority voters excited about a Hillary Clinton thing. And I think in general, there is a problem with voters who don't trust Hillary Clinton.
Since that first presidential debate, her numbers have gone up. She's gotten a nice little boost,
right.
and his numbers have gone down.
Right. I think we've seen a back and forth the last week. We've got two polls out this week, the LA Times poll and the UPI, that show Donald Trump ahead 2 and 5 points respectively. But I'll admit, I mean, we're in a neck-and-neck race. And I think not just nationally, but statewide, I think tonight gives us an opportunity to draw that contrast. I think that's what Mike Pence is really going to do tonight, is get in there and talk about the differences of accomplishment between him and Tim Kaine, and then, frankly, the difference in philosophy between him and he and Donald and Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. I think that's a big difference. You know, the First Lady, it was interesting when she was talking, was reading off a litany of how long basically Hillary Clinton's been in Washington. And one of the things that's interesting is I think they believe that that's a strength. They believe that 30 years of Washington insider is a positive thing, and that's the same thing with Tim Kaine, governor, senator, mayor of Richmond. They come into this believing that more time in government is good. I think the Pence-Trump team believes that being the agent of change, talking about shaking things up, is actually what voters are looking for, and I think that's where the disconnect is right now.
Mike Pence, the vice presidential running mate, he spent a lot of time in government too. He was member of Congress for a long time.
Member of Congress,
governor now.
One-term governor. But the difference also is they don't talk about how long they've served. They talk about the accomplishments they have. I mean, when Tim Kaine was governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, taxes went up and unemployment went up. Under Mike Pence, the last 4 years in Indiana, taxes have gone down, unemployment's gone down.
Take a look at this Pennsylvania, Monmouth University poll just out this hour. In Pennsylvania, state he has worked hard.
Yeah.
He thinks he can turn that state in his favor. Hillary Clinton 50%, Donald Trump 40%, a 10-point advantage in Pennsylvania.
Well, I don't think it's that much. If it's probably an outlier poll. I do think she's probably a couple points ahead right now, but he is putting in more and more time. You're going to continue to see him and Governor Pence out there. I think the ground game that we have put together in Pennsylvania ensures that we know who our voters are, where the potential persuadable voters are, and there's a reason that Pennsylvania is where it is on the map. The really interesting thing is because it's a election day. They don't have a robust early vote program, is that we know that we can go in there and continue to fight hard all the way through Election Day.
Is Donald Trump doing a better job this time getting ready for the Sunday night debate?
He is, but I also would take issue that he did do a good job last time. I mean, he has spent a lot of time with his issue advisors and his political advisors preparing for the debate. I admit that I think a lot of things that we probably could have hit her harder on last time, or some missed opportunities. But I think when you look at, by and large, what the Clinton campaign wanted out of that last game, they wanted him to make a gaffe. He came in, he looked strong, he talked about where he was on issues, he stood firm on trade. She didn't. I mean, look, I think it's being, if anyone was graded on a curve, it was Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump came in, stood firm, talked about where he was on the issue, the direction, and changing
all the serious polls, not these online polls that are not scientific, and they're not even polls, they're surveys. Really, all the serious polls, as you well know, the state polls, the national polls, show that she won that debate decisively.
Yeah, okay, but I think if you're going to look at that, then you'd have President Kerry and President Gore. John Kerry won every single of those debates against George Bush, 3 in a row, most of them by fairly wide margins. It didn't turn out too well. I think if Donald Trump continues to deliver the message of change and make sure that Hillary Clinton has continued to be tagged as the candidate of the establishment and the status quo, that's the contrast we want to drive. And there's a reason that this enthusiasm gap exists, because people are tired of Washington politicians and want some change.
In our new poll, that enthusiasm gap has diminished.
Right, but we still have the advantage in it. And I get it, but again, part of it is some of her folks coming home. They continue to have that problem with minorities and youth that are part of that niche coalition that they have to tie together to win.